We have lived in 3 places in 5 months, and if you want to know why, then check the description box below because we put the links of those videos down there. But in this video, we are going to show you our newest place, and then at the end, we'll sit down, we'll compare and contrast the 3 places that we've lived in so that you guys can get a better idea of what to look for in an apartment sight unseen. Hey expats and travelers, come on in to check out our newest apartment. So this is a T2, which means that both bedrooms have windows. It also has 2 full baths, but first let's check out the living room. We'll go this way. The living room is very spacious, and you'll see in a second we've got a great window that heads out to the terrace, which is nice. But there's a lot of room in the living room. It's great to hang out with Sia, with the dog. Josh can work at the table. We've got toys set up in these different cubbies. We've got a big comfortable couch for everyone to sit on. The table is big. It's pushed off a little bit to the side so we can have a bit of a workstation here, but then we can also move stuff around to have family dinners. Now, one thing I want you to notice about this room is that there are no air con heaters that are connected to the walls. So I think a problem with this apartment is you have to have the radiators. And certain radiators act differently, I would say. We've got 2 sitting over here in the corner. Just to show you, this radiator is not very good and it is an energy sucker. This radiator is much better. It blows the hot air out. Now we have to have the door closed for it to really warm the room, but it works pretty well considering this apartment is much colder than the other apartment, and we'll get to those comparisons soon. But this is the living room. It's very spacious and a great hangout space. Also, something that's really cool is the art. It brings a lot of color to the room, which I definitely like that. Let's go ahead now and move out to the terrace area. We have part indoor, part outdoor. So these big windows bring in some light, which is nice. We'll go out here. This indoor space is a little narrow. It's not really meant to be a hangout. This table can go outside when there's more space and it's a little warmer. Now, for those of you who know me, you know I'm super excited because we have a washer and a dryer. Full washer, full dryer. So this is one thing I asked living when we had to move apartments. I said I would love a place that has a washer and dryer, and I really like both of them. I know it takes up a lot of space, but when you have the washer dryer combo, I feel like it's just not as good. The dryer is not as good. So I'm very happy to have this. Now, one thing that I do have to note though is you have to be careful when running a lot of things at the same time. Then you might blow a circuit. So if you have the washer, the dryer, the stove, anything else, then we've had lights go out and we have to flick it back on. So we do have to be mindful of that and which outlets. We're already learning which outlets to use at the same time and which ones not to. Okay, so we'll back up a little bit and we'll go out this direction. We've got these big windows, but let's take a look at this terrace. We've already had meals out here, which has been nice. So it's pretty spacious. Now there's not a view, but it is a nice little area to get outside, get some fresh air, especially right now with the parks and such being closed. We can at least have Valencia run around here, Pinto run around as well. We can have meals out here. So again, it's a nice outdoor space. There's just not much of a view. Back inside to the inward part, instead of going through those doors to the living room, we can actually come back towards the washer and dryer, and there is a door here into the kitchen. As you can see, we can close the door to the kitchen, which I guess is a little nice because then you can open that door and get some fresh air when you're cooking. But you'll see in this apartment, there are a lot of doors. We'll point those out in a minute. Full kitchen though, which is great. We have 4 burners for the stove, the oven, the dishwasher, and it's quite spacious. Lots of cabinet space as well to put stuff. One little thing that Sia likes is the buttons on the dishwasher, so she can come play with those. Another thing she likes is these little stools that are under here. We don't actually sit here for anything, but when we're in here and need her to stay in here, it's a good little thing for her to play with. We'll go ahead and open this door, and let's take a look at the other side of the apartment. Well, you might be wondering, well, we just saw the kitchen, but where's the fridge? Funny enough, it's in a door. Not really sure why they even kept the door on, but it's in the door. So we come through here, we can open or close this door, and look, we have more doors. This one is just storage. We've got, see a stroller in there and some cleaning supplies. And then this door is the breaker box, so no storage or anything for that. So we've seen the living room, the terrace, the kitchen. Moving in this direction is the first bathroom. Since we have 2 bathrooms, we can have one for Sia and one for us. So as you can see, we just leave her tub sitting there, which is nice to have the space. We don't necessarily need 2 bathrooms, but then I have less cleanup, I guess you could say. So it's a full bathroom, nice shower, nice toilet and sink. So that's at the entrance of the apartment. We'll go ahead and move now down the hallway. As usual, Sia is sleeping, so we'll check out her room in a minute, but let's check out the second bathroom here. Now this bathroom is a little smaller, but it has a bigger shower. So we use this one as our bathroom. Sink is the same, toilet's the same, but this one has a bidet. Not that we use it. I wash Sia's clothes in it if I need to. Hand wash before washing machine. Sia sleeping in there. So when she's done, we will go in there. And then this is our bedroom. So the layout's a little weird because we do have this empty space right here, but I guess it's good for just getting into the closet. One thing that we have noticed about this place is that there are lots of places to put things. So we have this big closet. We each have these drawers right next to the bed. There's another set of drawers over there. There's another closet behind here. So lots of place for storage. And then these big windows which let in a lot of natural light, which is also good to help with the heat. Since everything's pretty closed off in this apartment, it can get cold. So it's nice to at least have these windows open, especially when the sun is shining through. It warms it up a little bit. We haven't actually used it, but we do have a TV here, and there's a TV in Sia's room, but we mainly just watch the TV that's in the living room because it's big and it's nice, and when we come here, we just sleep. Okay, Valencia's now awake, so she can show us her room. Do you want to show your room? Come on. Here, let's go. You show? Where's your room? Come here. Yeah. Okay. Can you show everyone what your room looks like? Okay, this is Sia's room. She's got her crib in the corner, and then we have her toys set up here on these with these drawers and everything. And then we just mainly have her changing station on this little twin bed that's here. So the room's actually smaller than our first place, but it's set up just fine.
Say hey, Pincho. Oh yeah, he loves the camera.
He's natural. Smile. So this gives us a good little place for her to play, and then also the living room.
All right, expats and travelers, there's a lot about this place that I don't like. I wouldn't have actually chosen this place. Like if you show me a portfolio of properties and you show me the pictures of the place, although I think the pictures are flattering, but I wouldn't have chosen this place. Certainly after walking through it initially, I wouldn't have chosen this place.
Okay, but let's go ahead and break down some key areas and things for you guys to consider so you know what to expect when looking for an apartment.
Lighting, heating, all the doors and the lack of openness, size, the entrance, outdoor space, and how they're equipped. So let's start out with lighting first.
The lighting's tough here because of how long the apartment is. So obviously we can turn the lights on, but the natural lighting is kind of an issue except for the places that have the big windows.
Yeah, our first place, there were a lot of natural lights. There was a huge window that was in the living room area, so we hardly ever had to use the actual like artificial lighting or light switches. I don't know what you would call it. That was great. It was also nice because in both of the bedrooms, there were big windows that could fill up the rooms with light. Now we do have that here. In the second place that we stayed in, the lighting was pretty good.
It was okay, yeah. It was weird though because you would think that being downstairs at that place would be kind of dark and dungeony, but they did the artificial lighting really, really well.
Oh, yeah.
It's that bright light, so it makes
Felt
it
like
feel like
light.
it's natural light.
Yeah.
So they did that well considering there aren't as many windows at that place.
Yep.
Now, I would say that here, the windows in the bedrooms are nice, but for us, we don't really hang out in our bedroom, so that doesn't really matter. It's good for Sia, though, when we're playing in there with her. It has natural light better on that side than it does through here, because in the back, back, as you've seen, the terrace is a bit closed off with buildings around it. So although we do get that light, there's not some direct sunlight that can really come in.
Now, to piggyback off of lighting, let's talk about heating. Because I think that in the first apartment we lived in, that big window allowed like sunlight to come in, which heated the space up. And we would run the heater every now and then, but we didn't have to so often. But heating.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
This place is cold.
So south-facing apartments tend to get the sun all day. East-west apartments are quite good as well, depending on what your window configuration is for heating the inside if you have the windows open. North apparently is very cold, Game of Thrones style, like beyond the northern wall there. But it's just not heat efficient here. Like, this place doesn't seem to be as like up to scale or code as it should be.
So I have two observations for that. One is that this place doesn't have the built-in heating in the walls, so you have to use radiators, and not all radiators are equal. Also, the second thing would be because this place is long and the inward part isn't getting any direct sunlight through the windows, or you don't really have the radiator sitting in the hallway, it tends to get cold as well through there, so in the bathrooms and everything. So my two things would be...
It's great to hang meat, though. Like, if you want to hang meat, it's a wonderful meat locker in the hallway.
In the hallway, there's just not
At
much
night?
space. So I would say when you're looking for a place, definitely look for the built-in aircon heaters.
Yeah.
It's just a better option.
They're more efficient. It's going to lower your energy bill. These radiators, they suck some energy. They drink it straight out of the wall.
So that is something that's difficult. We are very grateful that we weren't in this place in January and February when it was really cold. So here it's manageable. Now I would say our second place that we were there temporarily, that place could get kind of cold, but because they had the built-in heaters, those were really good. So it really kept it nice and warm there.
You know, even if you're moving here during the spring or summer and you're planning on being in an apartment, the apartment that you sign with for a year, go ahead and ask them what their heat efficiency is. Ask them what that rating is. They should know, and that'll give you a good indication of, one, how cold it's going to be during the winter, and two, maybe how expensive your energy bill is going to be.
Another funny thing to note in this apartment is all of the doors. So this style is very closed off compared to the other two. Obviously, the second one had no doors except for the bathroom. And then the first one...
Didn't love that.
Yeah, that was tough with Sia. Had a few doors, but the living room, kitchen area was very open. So this one is a completely different style and just lacks openness.
Yeah, I'm not as American, I think, as a lot of people. So I've gotten used to living in smaller spaces after living in a few different Asian countries. And I feel better and more like efficient in life about living in a smaller space. I don't know why. It's like you can take away things, you can remove things from your life that you don't use very often instead of storing stuff up, which I think is really nice. So when you live in a smaller space, it forces you to do that. So I don't love how big this is. Now, some people be like, oh, it's so big, it's so spacious. Look, if that's your thing, you do you. Like, do what makes you feel comfortable, especially if it's your first move abroad. Don't throw yourself into a wild situation where you're not only living in a foreign country and learning a foreign language, but then also having to get used to a completely different type of living environment that you're not used to. You need to kind of go step by step, and I think that'll make your transition a lot smoother.
Yeah, definitely do what makes you feel comfortable.
Something that we kind of considered but maybe didn't think about so much whenever we moved here was the entrance of the place. Now, what I mean by that is in our first apartment, we actually lived above a restaurant. So when things were normal, there were a lot of people that were going into this restaurant, coming out, going in, while we were trying to get our daughter situated in the stroller. And oh, by the way, there was an elevator to the building, but the elevator didn't start until like 3 flights up.
Yeah, that's something we didn't know.
So we thought it had an elevator, which it did, not false advertising, but the elevator didn't start on the ground floor, so it was kind of useless for our purposes.
Something to ask about if that's going to be an issue for you.
100%. We decided the next place we were going to live in, we definitely wanted some sort of direct access to an elevator or to be on the ground floor. But after trekking up for like 3 flights of stairs for our first 3.5, 4 months of being here, I was like, you know what? I can do a flight of stairs.
I think for us, just being on the ground floor is nicer. You do have to consider different things like noise and everything.
So that leads us to the next thing, which is outdoor space. All 3 places that we lived in had outdoor space. But outdoor space is not created equal. Now, apartment 2 had an amazing garden. Granted, there wasn't grass on it,
Mulch.
but it was mulch.
Yeah,
it was
not bad.
nice. Sia liked to chew on the bark. Pincho as well. But we had an opportunity to allow both of them to get outside without having to like take a trip to the park, which we do enjoy doing.
Right, but the problem with the second place is all the stairs. So Sia loves climbing up and down stairs when she sees them. So we'd get outside, we'd play, she'd spot the stairs, she'd walk right over to them and want to climb up them, and then be ready to climb down them, and then up them and down them. So I think I actually prefer the first place better with the balcony, even though it wasn't a huge space. She liked being out there as well, but there was nothing for her to really get into. It had the concrete wall, and then I could sit, have coffee or something like that, and look at the view, which I thought was really nice.
Yeah, that's right. And this place here does have a terrace, so there is an outdoor space. We can take advantage of that. We showed you guys that. It's nice. It doesn't have that view, certainly not. We actually wanted to film out there, but it was just too noisy.
Yeah, it's too loud. You've got neighbors all around, so it's something to consider, I guess, is if you're going to sit out there or play out there, you might have people watching you.
All right, so if you guys want a better look of our first place, go ahead and click this video here. And if you want to see our second place, it's actually wrapped up in this video right here, so click right here. This is Property Hunt Portugal, where we give you a look of 3 different places that you could rent here in Porto. Now let's get moving.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.